Welcome back to another Evrand Recap. This time, I'll be covering episodes number 29 through 34, as I like to call them, the Reverence arc. This one was written by Sean, so a big thank you to him for doing that. So here we go. On their way to the dwarven city of Carrickfern, a tiefling emerges from a mass grave and hails the party. He introduces himself as Reverence, Sean's new character after Oz's departure. He is a servant of the god of death, Kalimvor. He asks to join the party because his god has given him a target to assassinate who should not be alive. Reverence was not given the target's name, just that it will cross paths with the party at some point. Rick, Brina, and Wave take an unnecessarily long time deciding whether or not to let Sean's new character into the group, and they set off to see the dwarves together. They arrive in Carrickfern and meet up with Queen Angie Fireforge. They deliver Captain Maddox's letter requesting dwarven aid to fight the Black Dragon Retraced that had attacked Bricken's homestead. She leaves to discuss with her advisors, and the party goes to see Crag McNuckles so Rick can continue his Battle Rager training. At Rick's request, Crag inserts white-hot adamantine spikes between Rick's knuckles. The group is introduced to the new group of Battle Ragers that Crag has trained. The group is known as the Knuckle Dusters, and all of them have something unique about their spiked armor. Large metal jaws, mechanical jumping mechanisms with large boots for stomping, etc. They meet back up with the Queen. She can spare 2 warriors from the Knuckle Dusters and the legendary magical shield Dreadwall made from the cleaved skull of the current dragon ancestor Carstraxus. The shield is lent to the group for the specific purpose of killing Westraxus and is to be returned after the dragon's death. The party makes its way to Bricken's homestead, fighting some plant tentacle monsters along the way. Upon arrival to the town, the party learns that the scouts from the town have discovered the entrance to the dragon's lair. It is a day and a half's travel from the city. Wave gives an inspiring speech to the townsfolk, and 40 people join the group. Additionally, Maddox gives the group a ballista to assist them in the battle. The dragon hunting party heads towards the dragon's lair. It takes longer than expected, as the woods would seem to be more dense than they used to be, a result of the dragon's influence. They try to lay a trap for the dragon at the entrance, but it did not work. The party enters the cavern to scout and clear a path for the townsfolk to follow. They avoid some traps, then find a large cavern filled with alcoves connected by zip lines in the walls where kobolds and swobolds are living. The floor of the cavern seems to be acid and filled with zombies that attack if you fall in. There's a small platform in the middle. Fight ensues, and Waves uses his ultimate ability to change the course of the battle, leading to a win for our heroes. As the townsfolk slowly make their way across the acid lake, the party continues through the dungeon. This part looks much older and to be purposefully built long ago, way too long ago to have been built by Westraxus and his minions. They traverse several puzzles involving statues of ancient heroes, skeletons, spinning rooms, etc. As they're navigating a catwalk, Rick sees a room with a single kobold in it. When she sees him, he's pulled into the room and handed an evaluation form for the traps in the dungeon. Her name is Breesky, and she is hired to create new traps for Westraxus. After some conversation, it is discovered that Hank is her brother. Knowing this and loving Hank, Rick convinces her to quit working for Westraxus and instead to design traps for the dwarves in Carrickfern. She agrees to use her clay golems to get the ballista across the acid lake. The party arrives in a cavern that seems to be where the kobolds live. Combat ensues and the group is forced to kill everyone. They travel down one more tunnel, and from the ceiling, the dragon attacks. When the battle begins, the party is split. Rick and Wave are underwater in a pool looking for treasure. One of the scouts frees a chain giant from shackles in the hopes that he'll aid in the fight, which he does, utilizing his chain to keep Westraxus from flying away. Highlights of the battle include Rev counterspelling the dragon's first devastating spell, Wave spending a substantial portion of the battle underwater trying to get treasure, Rick using harpoons to fight the dragon in midair as it flies away, and the giant throwing Brina a la Fastfall Special and completely missing. The dragon dies while above the cavern, causing the roof of the cavern to collapse. In the end, the only survivors are the party, the Battle Ragers from Carrickfern, and 8 of the townsfolk. After gathering up the treasure, the group headed back to Ricken's homestead. The Battle Ragers returned home with a Dreadwall and some diamonds for Queen Andy. The town holds a sober celebration as the dragon is gone, but many lives were lost in the process. The party then heads south on foot to return to Gouger and see what has become of it. Thank you guys so much for watching, and be sure to stay tuned for the next Evrand Recap.